Well, down to our ECO9 report, conservation groups across the country are taking new approaches to safeguard temporary waterways in their backyards that are created by snow melt and heavy rain.
And this latest push follows the Supreme Court's recent decision to strip away federal protections from some wetlands, which is leaving them at risk for pollution. CBS News reporter Skylar Henry explains.
Keeping areas like these protected recently became murkier for Colin O'Mara.
Over the last 20, 30 years, we tried to restore a lot of habitat here, had some kind of responsible redevelopment on the other side.
He's the CEO and executive director of the National Wildlife Federation and says this Delaware wetland is now more exposed following a May Supreme Court ruling narrowing regulations.
These are some of the most important systems to protect our health, protect us from flooding, protect us for water quality, and they're all at risk right now.
The Sackett versus EPA decision makes it harder for the federal government to police water pollution in isolated wetlands, the same wetlands that were once covered under the Clean Water Act. The 5-4 vote said that wetlands can only be regulated if they have continuous surface connection. Abby Tierna, who lives in Florida, worries about the more than 31% of wetlands in that state that don't meet that criteria.
If we want clean water, that's almost impossible in the state of Florida without recognizing the contribution of wetlands.
Her Suncoast Waterkeeper nonprofit has gone after local municipalities for irresponsibly disposing of waste prior to the ruling. She says forcing new ordinances on the local and state level helps push back against land development interests.
Just because you can't see the connection doesn't mean the connection doesn't exist. There's a large body of research right now that does show the connection via groundwater, animals, energy, nutrient transfers.
These are the systems that are going to protect us from climate change, and if we don't protect them now, we're going to regret it later.
O'Mara says he's focused on coordinated state protections, with hopes of finding a consensus soon. Skylar Henry, CBS News, Wilmington, Delaware.
Now, Congress could amend the Clean Water Act to include those vulnerable wetlands, but past efforts to lay out and legislate a true definition of waters of the United States have fallen short.